Alright, so like a week ago, I posted a video, 3 videos, I think, asking people to just ask questions for a Q&A I do in a few days. Today's the day. So, let's do some questions. Elijah MTB says, any other bike parks you'd like to visit? I'd say probably Grass Mountain, Sun Peaks, Silver Star, one of those 3. Frosted Berms AK asked, when did you start MTB and what gives you the courage to do big thing? I don't know. I started MTB around 2018 when I joined a local coaching group, like MTB thingy, called Mighty Bikes, and honestly just practice and a ton of commitment just helps you with big thing. Owen Bikes says, where's the most fun place you've ridden? Probably Whistler. 100% Whistler. Whistler's so fun. Cats with Pads 9727 says, why did you leave Alaska for half the summer and what happened to your trip to New Zealand? I left Alaska for half the summer to go on a trip to Whistler and Washington. New Zealand trip wasn't something I was going to have something to do. It was only an idea, so we didn't end up doing it. Frosted Berm AK says, is there any other bike parks you'd like to visit? Any tips and tricks for Whistler Bike Park? And you're so good. Have fun. Thanks. I would love to visit like Grass Mountain, Sun Peaks, or like Silver Star. This sound like pretty fun places. And honestly, for Whistler, just take it easy for the first few runs. Also, ride some of the blue tech trails. They're really fun. And then ride probably crank it up to Seymour as a few warm-ups. So you get used to Whistler. It's a little weird to get used to. And then you can eventually take it to A-Line and Dirt Birch and stuff like that. Everything kind of works with speeds, so trust with trail builders, and ride the tech. It's so fun there. F4J Phantom 11 says, how long have you been riding? 7 or 8 years probably, since like 2018, so. F4J Phantom 11 says, can you tow me into Osteoblast? Yeah, I will. MTB Kid 123 says, how are your videos so good? I don't know. Byron MTB says, just give some tips on how to get good. Practice. And lots of riding. Ellen Alaska says, what's your favorite MTB trick? Now this is a hard one because sometimes the whips can look really steezy, but honestly I'd say like knack-knacks, cans, or Supermans. I can't really decide. They're both like really stylish tricks. Big Drew 11 says, Fox or Rock Shocks? They're both really good, but I prefer Fox. Elijah MTB says, what's your favorite bike brand and favorite trail at Hilltop? Either Santa Cruz or GT is probably my favorite bike brand, and my favorite trail at Hilltop is probably Sharp. Dane Insane 4195 says, have you always lived in Alaska? I was born in Alaska, but I moved to Washington for a year when I was around 2 or 3, but then moved back pretty soon, and I've lived in Alaska since, I guess. Boostin' Bomb MTB says, what bike you shredding on? I'm starting a GT Force Comp 2024. Cats with Pads 9727 says, worst crash / injury? Oh, that was a bad one. Okay. Last season I crashed on a tech section that I've ridden many times, but I took a slightly different line than usual. Slipped out, my bars went straight into my neck. That kind of pinched my throat shut. I could barely breathe. Didn't fully pinch my throat, but it pinched it, and that hurt. And I couldn't talk for like a week. And it hurt a lot. Yeah, that one's pretty bad. Big Drew 11 says, thoughts on Canyon? Not a bad bike brand, but some of their bikes aren't very good. I have a friend who snapped like 3 Canyon frames. Big Drew 11 also asks, Specialized or Trek? I'd say they're both good bike brands, but if I had to choose one, it would be Specialized. _MTB says, in your opinion, what's the most overrated bike besides the V10? You just took out the one I was going to say. I don't know, really. Probably the S-Works Enduro. That thing kind of sucks. Obob MTB, congrats on 19k subs, bro, asks, how did you get so good? And just lots and lots of practice and riding a ton, yeah. Weston Lap says, I think that's how you say it, says, do you like tech or flow? I love them both so much, but I'm more of a flow guy. Owen Bikes says, what's your dream bike? I don't really know. Probably like Bronson Spec. I don't really know. A bike that's good. Washington Wash Me Pitbull asks, hardest trick to learn? Probably knack-knacks. Took me a while. Illinois Bikes says, is Whistler a prime example of GoPro effect? Yes. Like, almost everything's like a million times bigger in person, especially like their immersion drops. But the thing is, like, the A-Line rock drop, it's way smaller in person. It's like 3 feet. It's tiny. But still fun. Good Pigs asks, can you wheelie and have you ridden a dirt bike? I can kind of wheelie, I'm not that good at it. And I have ridden dirt bike like once or twice. It's been a while though. Gunnar Grafstrom, I think that's how you say it, says, what's the hardest trail you've ever done? Probably Maverick at Port Gamble, because those jumps like huge. Ocean Botanic says, what's better in your opinion, hardtail or full suspension? Full suspension, especially if I'm doing like park, hardtails like hurt on tech and stuff.